Okay, this is for COMM 101 80N. These are the critiques of the self-introduction speeches. And let me start right off with a couple of announcements. Made these announcements before, but apparently not much attention is being paid. So let's start all over again. This shot right here. Say this one time. This is the only shot I want to see in your video. Got to be able to see my face. No bright lights over my head. No bright lights coming in behind me. Anything like that would cause the iris of the lens on the camera to iris down to the point that you can't see me. You can't see my eyes. I had eye surgery, so these are real cheap glasses that I've got to wear right now in order to see, to read what I'm going to be reading. But neither here nor there. Still got to be able to see your face. Got to be close. If you show a visual, don't take a picture of it with the camera. Don't move the camera. Once that camera's turned on, never turn it off until the end of the speech. And don't move it. Don't zoom in and out. Don't pan left or right, up or down, or anything like that, okay? Make sure you understand that. Audience intros. Said this, do it again. See this shot? You establish this shot with your camera. The audience walks in one at a time. They look at the camera and say, "My name is Keith Klein and I am," and give their age. If they're shy about giving their age, they can say over 21. They've got to be at least 16 years of age or older. One at a time. One at a time. When one leaves, the next one walks in, give their name and their age, and leaves until 6. See there? 6 people have introduced themselves. After they've introduced themselves at the beginning of your speech, never but never again will they walk in front of the camera. You do not show them again. Whatever. I only want to see them at the beginning of the speech. All right. So we've got the audience intros. 2 outlines. There are 2 outlines. They need to be labeled. They're preparation outline and speaking outline. You must label them on the outline, not in the email, on the outline. And it's got to be on every page of the outline, just like your class number and your name. Okay? Every page of your outline says what it is. Preparation outline, speaking outline. Please look at the textbook. Please find out what the format is for those. The formats have been so wildly off of what they're supposed to be on this first speech that I have to believe that some of you didn't even look to see what a sample outline looks like. They are never single-spaced. We'll just leave it at that. All right. The audience intro, we talked about that. Your time of your speech. Your time starts when the camera goes on. All right. And if it takes you a minute to introduce your audience, and your camera only runs for 3 minutes, before you start to talk, we've had an audience introduction for a minute, you only have a 2-minute speech. It's supposed to be the length of the speech. So subtract the audience introduction from the length of your speech. You got somebody out in the audience timing you and showing you that you've already used 3 minutes, but one of those 3 was the introduction to the audience. No, you don't have 3 minutes. You only have 2 minutes. Never turn off the camera. You do that, you're going to fail the speech, point blank. And we can tell when the camera's been turned off. All right, composition. Again, this shot only, inch or 2 above the head. Bust line. This shot only. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but for whatever reason, that's not what I'm getting. All right, let's go. We're going to go by your fantasy name. This is Winter. All right, we have only 1 outline submitted, and it was not labeled, whether it was a speech outline or a preparation outline. You have a horribly wrong shot. It's not centered, you're not centered in the shot, and it's not even close to this shot. All right, the audio, an audience member's head is in the shot all the time. Don't want to see anybody between you and the camera. there was no visible outline. Folks, listen to this. The reason you have a speaking outline is so you use it during your speech. Got to see some sign. If I'm seeing both your hands and nothing's in them and you don't have anything in front of you like a podium, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You were very short of the required length. Your speech ran 2 minutes and 7 seconds. There was no flow to your speech. There were awkward pauses. The mic is too far away to get clear audio on you. You talk too fast at times for me to be able to hear and understand what you're saying. You showed the audience at the end, killing more of your 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Stand still when you talk. Don't bounce up and down. Don't be moving around. Stand still. And you were hard to understand at times, so you want to kind of work on that. A lot of work, room for improvement there. Next up is morale. Good job on the outlines. You turned off the camera after Brandon, your last audience member, was introduced, and then the camera came back on and you started your speech. Cutting off the top of your head it's too close. Give me a little more headroom on the top. I need more light on your face so I can see you. What else? Watch your uhs and ums, the vocalized pauses. Be careful of those. Try to show a little more energy. There were times when you had it. There were other times when I thought you were just reciting a bunch of words from a speech that you kind of knew something about. All right? Work on the flow in going from one point to another. There are times when you absolutely die going from one point to another point, like, okay, is this going to be interesting? Is this something he cares about? Whatever. Watch the tisk. The tisk is when you talk, sometimes people make this sound with their mouth, and it is terribly annoying. Watch that. Next up is cowgirl. Your speaking outline needs a lot of work, and your preparation outline looks pretty good. The outlines were not labeled and were sent separately. The outline by labeling, I don't mean in the subject line of the email message. I mean on the paper, the page, the outline, each page. All right, another quick thing. All class materials for each speech must be sent as attachments to the same email address. Don't send me one email with the preparation outline, another email with the speaking outline, and another email with visuals. Send them all with the same email message. I can't see or count the members of your audience because you didn't follow the directions on introducing the audience. This is nowhere close to what the required composition shot is supposed to be. The color is a very red-orange color. I don't know where that's coming from. Possibly not enough normal lighting in the room. The camera's not on a tripod, so it's moving as you talk. I can't see your face. Don't talk to your audience or tell them to look at the camera. Only deal with me. I am your only audience that you're dealing with while you're doing your speech. There was no flow. It was just a collection of facts with nothing much to hold them together or make it from one point to another. And one of the obvious questions is, did you look at this video before you uplinked it? Because you would have seen all of the things that I'm talking about. I couldn't even tell if you maintained strong eye contact because I can't see your face. Next up is Faith, F-A-Y-T-H-E, and only one outline submitted, and it was not labeled. Whether it was a performance or a speech outline, all outlines are to be emailed to me, not posted anywhere. Email every bit of the materials. Don't post them in Connect. Don't post them in Blackboard. Email everything to me. This is for everyone in the class, not just for Faith. All right. Too much light behind you. Your face is dark. It's hard to see your eyes. Slow down a bit when you're speaking. Work on flow to make it a story, not just a collection of points. You have the wrong composition. Your shot, your video is too short. It ran 2 minutes and 32 seconds. You are rocking a fair amount of time, so kind of stand still. Don't drop your voice at the end of a sentence. Don't drop your voice at the end of a sentence. Okay, be strong. Start strong, finish strong. And regarding your note, you are supposed to email your outlines to me. You are supposed to do that, so do it that way. Next up is Haley. You sent only one outline. It was not labeled. I can't guess what you believe it to be. You later sent two outlines properly labeled, so make sure that you have all of that. Never, 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 anybody, never sit when you are speaking in a speech class or delivering a speech unless you have an ADA reason for doing so. Your audience must be in front of you, not behind you, because for one, I get distracted. I start to look at the audience to see what they're doing. I'm not paying attention to you. Get in front of a plain wall, nothing to distract, so all the audience is looking at is you. It looks like you're reading your script, so you've got something there, but it looks like you're reading it. Slow down a bit. Work on flow from point to point. You are not very expressive. You're just stringing together a series of sentences. It's got to be a story. You repeated yourself. You were difficult to understand at times on specific words. Work on that. Next up is Christ. You have only one outline. It's not labeled, single-spaced, and nowhere near in the proper format. It wasn't an outline. You have the wrong audience intro. I can't see any of them. There is a bright light over your left shoulder, not enough light on your face. I can't see your eyes. Smooth out your sentences so that they flow from one point to another. You seem to be reading more than you're talking to me. Also, you had a very, very long Bible reading that did not in any way forward your story and kept us from finding out more about you. No more Bible readings for any speech. Your story just does not hold together. And again, no more quoting Bible verses. All right. Next up is Lana, L-A-N-A. This was a very good audio presence, no outlines at all. You're standing in front of an exceptionally bright light. I can't see your face. Work on a little bit on the breathiness when you're talking so that it doesn't sound like you can't support an entire sentence without having to take a breath. Kind of get the flow there. Breathe and then start. When you finish, take a breath and start the next thing. Slow down a little bit. You're swallowing some of your words because you're going so fast. You can't always hear what the words usually are. Okay. And there is no audience as part of your speech. Watch the tisk, that sound that we already talked about. Next up is Jordan. Good lighting and a nice background. No outlines. Never sit unless you have an ADA reason. Don't scratch while you're speaking. Slow down. You're running things together because you're going so fast. Work on the flow from one point to another. Your story is too long. Edit yourself. Much was interesting to you that was interesting to you was not all that interesting to your audience. All of you, pay attention to this. Think of your audience. Your audience is a general audience. If you're a nuclear scientist, they don't know what you know. So you've got to figure out how to say things that they understand in their terms. And if it's a really complicated or sophisticated term you're using, explain it. All right. Talk exclusively to the camera. Do not talk to your audience. And when you sit, even though you're sitting, you're still bouncing your shoulders when you're talking. All right. Next up is Pirates. A very interesting story. You have some kind of odd, very interesting story. Add some color to the story. Get some adjectives in there and make it a little more of a story. You have the wrong way that you introduced your audience. You're cutting off the head. You have the wrong your head, cutting off your head. Wrong camera shot. No outline in your hand. Doesn't appear you have anything that you're reading from. There's no flow. There are a lot of awkward pauses. You started slow and picked up about 1 minute and 25 seconds in. you stop your flow, and when you do that, you suffer in terms of the speech that you're giving. Dogs barking wherever they are, in another room or outside, very distracting, hard to pay attention to you and hear you, and watch the tisk, that sound when you do things. All right. Now, there's a lot to improve on. There's a lot to get better. This speech is kind of okay, not a lot of points, but there are a lot of things that you should now see you need to work on and improve. Nobody failed this speech in any way, shape, or form, so keep working on it, keep getting better, and if you have any questions at all, call me in my office and we will discuss whatever it is that concerns you, or if you want to explore some ideas with me about what you want to talk about, do so. All right, we'll see you next time. Don't forget to stay up to date on the discussion boards. You've got to do the first answer by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Your second answer cannot be before Thursday morning. If you answer somebody on Tuesday, you're not going to get points. 5 points potential for the first part from Monday at 8 a.m. until Wednesday at 11:59. 5 points potential from Thursday until Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Okay? Any questions about that, give me a call. Watch for the exams. Make sure you stay up to date on the discussion boards. 160 points on discussion boards. Don't leave any of them on the table. All right, we'll see you next time.